Okay, I think we remembered to press all the buttons, so I didn't mute myself. All right. We'll see if we can get something done tonight. I'm pretty darn tired. I am pretty darn tired, and I'm going to need to get these items over here. Let's just go ahead and get the rule book and the cheat sheets for it. All right, so we've got this particular car that we're working on. Let's put the super readers on. Really? Jesus Christ, what are the fucking odds of that happening? Alright. As soon as I put on glasses, I'm like, fucking mole man. The mole man cometh. Okay, do we have a... We don't have a sheet started on this one. All right. Okay. It is going to be a car. That's going to be 12 points, 2 build slots, and that's all we know so far. I'm having a hell of a time kind of designing it because it has kind of a catchy name, and the name needs to go with that. Seven, huh? 7 points for an experimental teleporter and uses no build slots. Let's see what page that's on. I read it this morning. It needs to be an unusual car. I don't want to just give a couple of heavy machine guns to the front and, oil slick and have a nice day. It needs to have something a little bit different. This is always the part that's the hardest to find is, just a matter of where it's on it. Okay, so experimental teleporter, electrical rules, page 83. Okay, Michigan-sponsored teams only. Yeah, I don't follow that. But I also don't have teams that get free stuff either. Right? You have to pay it. You have to pay the points for it. 83. Page 83 for the transporter. Vehicle may only purchase upgrade once. To start this vehicle's activation, this vehicle may choose to activate the experimental transporter prior to and in addition to its normal movement step. When the experimental transporter is activated, this vehicle gains 3 hazard tokens and then rolls a single skid dice. If the skid dice result is anything other than a hazard, so I guess a hazard is only, I think, one chance out of 6. So you have 5 out of 6 chances. Place this vehicle anywhere within medium range of its current position, not touching obstruction or terrain without altering the vehicle's facing. This does not cause a collision. This vehicle then begins its normal movement step from this new location. If the skid dice is a hazard, the player to the left of the controller of the vehicle places his vehicle anywhere within the long range of its current position, not touching an obstruction or terrain without altering its facing. This does not cause a collision. Well, I can already tell you right now that there's going to be a roll-off for who gets to place it, because we don't follow that whole person neck to the left, because then you're playing a game that turns into like a card game, right? Like if you're playing Uno and you're always playing behind some guy named Frank, You know that he's going to throw stuff in front. Uno's a bad example because Uno you can reverse. But if you're playing a card game, whatever it might be, you know, you're always going to play after Frank. And you're going to play before Johnny. And that's never going to change. Now, it could alter a little bit if Johnny or one of them is not in that particular gear phase. But I don't like that. So that's one thing that we've kind of dispensed with. And I tried to look this morning. I don't know if it has only one use. I have a feeling it only has one use. It's 7 freaking points. So let's just assume we build it with 7 points. Okay? What do they call it? They call it a teleporter. I am not going to be calling it a teleporter. I'm going to be calling it a transporter. Okay, and there's a particular reason for that. It does not take any build slots. All right, so now we're at 19 points with 2 build slots left. Now, if we use rockets, for instance, if we put rockets on it, that's going to use up 2 build slots, and we're done. And the rockets use 5. That's going to put us at 24. That's going to give us point space for a perk. The other alternative is to put a couple of heavy machine guns on it, which would be 6. And then I have 2 points left for a 2-point perk. So let me look through and see if there's any perks that I would want to go with it, because I definitely could see doing either one of those two. Okay, and we've already cut out the mesh here for the windows and stuff like that. Okay. The only reason against using the transporter is that it's not a futuristic looking car. So, what was it that I was looking for? Machine guns. Oh, the perks. Got it. Okay. I need to print these out because I'm always looking in here for them. Okay. And I don't want to put a little tab here because that's damaging the book. That's sacrilege. Okay. Aggression. No. Where's the one that is the 1,000-yard stare one? That one would work. Unnerving eye contact. That's 5 points. Taunt. Taunt would be okay, but I think unnerving eye contact would be better. That's 5. Yeah, can't do that. Don't have enough points left if we use the transporter. Pursuit would be okay too. Enemy vehicle resolves the spin or slide move that ends within short ranges. You know, there's a lot of conditions. Like, you're throwing 2 points away because they've got to end within short, which basically means like they're almost going to ram them, but not. Where's the one that is... Oh, evasive is 5. Can't do that one. And slippery is 3. Can't do that one either. All right, what is this thing called? Experimental transport. All right. I think I know what I would use for it to glue on it. Or experimental what? Experimental teleporter. What should an experimental teleporter look like in Gaslands? We can look like anything, but oh, this guy sawed like a car in half. Well, that's kind of cool, except that, you know, you're only going to use it once. All right, let's see what we got. We got lots of things to choose from. I'm going to go look at the weird stuff first. Okay? And by the weird stuff, I mean this big old massive bag of odds and ends. We've got some things here that we might use. Although we're not going to use a minigun. So go ahead and put the minigun back. I have this thing, but this is more like a grav gun because, hell, it's got a magnet on it. So, although it looks cool, and we're not going to put a ram on this thing. We'll put that away. Teleporter. I will be calling it a transporter. All right, let's see. Here's some dropped weapons. Okay. These are just rams and such. Here's some wacky futuristic things. This is a smorgasbord. Let's look in the smorgasbord first. I don't know what this is, so that could work. That's obviously a boombox, wall of amplifiers. Little speaker. I think that's going to be the one item that we can. That's kind of a cool engine. This stuff is really nice. The question is, okay, are we going to use it for this vehicle? No. And I don't like to put things on a vehicle that the vehicle doesn't have. Otherwise, you'd consume all these parts. I mean, the cars are damn near free compared to the parts. Parts aren't super expensive, but they can add up. And then, worse than anything else is, you need some, and you got to wait for them to come in. It don't take too long, but it is something to consider. So, no point in being wasteful. I have a backup plan thing that'll work, if nothing else. All right, what do we got here? Hopefully I had a good showing, because I need to wake up. I'm pretty damn tired. This is like a drop thing. Okay, this is, I don't know what this is, but this could be something else that, does it fit on the roof? Maybe. This is like a double exhaust. This is actually really cool, these exhaust things. No, I don't know what the fuck this is. Almost like a spool or something. Could be something else. Okay. We're going to set this off to the side as a possibility. going to set one of those off to the side also as a possibility. Because I have something that I picked up in the real world that I figured, you know, this might actually work for a Gaslands build. Oh, we still have the really highly futuristic weapons. Although this isn't really a weapon. We got some lasers here, turret, grab. What is this? Oh, what is this? Yeah, it looks like some kind of array. I'd rather use that as a ray. I'm not sure what the hell this thing is. Like a laser Gatling gun or something. Okay, nope, nothing there. Well, I don't really have a vision of what I want it to look like. I just need to see it. Oh. In the RAM section, we got this. Yeah, just looks too dorky. Like something from Stargate or something. Let's look at our bag of crumbles here. Nope. Nope. We got lots of stuff in here, including, I'm sure, that one thing I was talking about that I could make use of something else. This reminds me of the big bucket that we used to have when we kept Legos. You're looking for something. Okay, this is a little something or another that might work. I mean, I can make my own device. So let's just look and see if there's any cool stuff in here. Like, that's another piece we could use. This set has some stuff we can use on it. I mean, it's not a weapon per se. It needs to be a contraption. That might be useful. That might be something else we can use. This is what I was looking for. Oh shit, it's not flat on one side. Okay. Well, it's a piece of a tire valve that I saw thrown around somewhere. I'm like, oh, that might be useful. I'll put a rocket there just in case. That's a nothing. Okay. Here's another one of those magnet things. we need to make it with the stuff that we have here. Let's take the small one of these. All right. Yeah, this is like a little valve. So the way to use this, I could snip the bottom of this off. So we have this little prong sticking up, and then we put this prong in the top of the roof here. And it's going to create some kind of a spark and zap this thing and send it somewhere else. Okay? That's pretty reasonable. I could also take something like this and cut it down, but this is like an actual weapon. I think this would work if you cut it here, because I like these like little holes on it. You know, almost like it's gonna, oh, you fire that thing off and it creates this dome, and anything in the dome gets sent off, right? We don't need a chain gun. Okay, what were we sitting on the points here? We're at 19. We're going to use 2 points for a perk. Well, hold on a second. If I go machine gun, front and back, and do 2, that's going to be 2, and that's going to be 2, so this is 4 together. That's 23. I could do 2 2-point perks. There's only one other gun that I have. There's only one other vehicle that actually has a front and back firing machine gun. So I wouldn't mind having another one. Okay, this has the AK-47 type banana clip. See if I have another one of these that has the drum. I do. It's just a matter of here. Is this it? I think it is. Okay. And unfortunately, these are male and female. So if I put this one here and I put this one here, that's okay. But we're going to have to move this nuclear thing to the trunk. Not the nuclear thing, the I don't think this looks bad. Let me chop this little bit off. I think this will work. This certainly looks like it could be some kind of a Oh, does this thing break apart? It does. Well, it's a valve, so it opens and closes. Okay, we just want that one part. I look for little parts of things in the real world that might be useful, and I come up empty-handed a lot. I really don't want this thing shifting on me. Now, what happens if I were to cut? Well, we're going to run the risk. We're going to run the risk. Because it's this top part that I want. This looks like it's got a little zapper or something. All right, so if I pull this apart and then cut this and hope nothing goes flying, let's see what we have. Okay, this still depresses. That's fine. It's got a little taller. That's not bad. Man, I feel like this needs to be on the roof. I don't mind putting this here. I just don't want to cover up any of the eagle, hawk, whatever you want to call it. That would work just fine, but we want to put one to the front and one to the back. We want one that shoots both ways. Literally. So I think I want one that has the magazine towards the outside. Let's see. That actually looks all right. I got another one. I haven't used very many of these. Anytime you buy a set, you get several of them, so. I don't want to dump this thing out again after I put it away. I'd like to get this guy done tonight, but I don't know if that's feasible. It's feasible to get it done by tomorrow, but... Oh, I found another one. Okay, which one's this one? Yeah, I don't want to use the banana clip-on for this one. So this is the same as this one. Okay. So if I replace this one with this one, we have them both with the ammunition towards the inside. And it shoots one forward, one back. I think that's what we want. I think that's what we want. We're not going to put rockets on it. I don't know that we need to enhance the roof of this with anything else. Could put a cog there. I don't know that it would solve anything. I have this little spool. I think that's what we're going to use. Looks kind of like some Back to the Future inspired thing, which is fine. That's a good look. That's a look that works. Was there anything here? No. All right, so the order of operations here is going to be let's remove this so we have a painting surface. The windows I want to prime since it's going to stay a white vehicle. We're going to add some colors to it, but it's going to stay a white vehicle. Let's trim this out. I don't know how many times you can use this thing. Might just be something you just use once. Just like DVA, there's stuff in these rules that is not explained well. You know, and we may disagree how they play it. I just, I'd like to play it the way it's intended first, before you just start changing shit constantly. Do you like that better? With the now I want the magazines towards the outside. That gives them more space in the center for this thing to be. It makes sense for this to be in the center of the vehicle, since you are going to create some kind of a dome of the dome of Sia. The dome of disappearing act. And I think this will be a cool car, or it'll be one that nobody wants to play. But I think it'll be different. And I'm going to leave this little spool back here. I don't know what the fuck it does, but it does something. And we need to put the armor on the windows and stuff here. Okay. Now, when I glue the armor on the windows, since we went ahead and glued the top and the bottom together, I don't want to run into issues where I can't paint the inside. Well, you know what? I did it one time and it wasn't an issue. So let's glue this stuff together because we know where this is going to go. Okay, we've already cut this to fit the door frame. So this guy looks like it's armored. Let's get our usual suspects out here. So we're going to take... By the way, buying the super glue in bulk seemed to be a much better option. Instead of spending $4 or $5 for a half of an ounce, I got the one that was 2 ounces or 3 ounces or something. No, it's still 0.7 of an ounce. Okay, instead of for 5 grams, because it was 5 grams, I got the one that's 20 grams. So I'm going to put some of this here. And let's get the tweezers handy, because we're going to need them. All right, and we're going to put some glue dots here where they go. I'm going to put 2 glue dots there. And then we're going to put a few here towards the top. And 3 there. Okay. So that goes like that. And the same thing on this one on this side. This is the original color that the car came in. It's white and has a brown wash attached to it. Applied to it over it. Okay. this should fit rather nicely. I think it'll attach there. If not, it won't. This in place for a little bit. Happy Friday evening, folks. Okay. Now this is going to have to sit in there. I mean, that is the right shape of what I imagine a transporter looks like. Not really a weapon, it's a fang. So I know I'm going to do another one, so it's going to have to look differently because I only have one of those. I think I want to put this here. Just something to... I don't know what it is, but it's something. And just like anything else, I come up with names for things first. Now, in this case, this vehicle oh, we don't have the... Well, you know, I'm not going to put the one in the back is bulletproof. Yeah, I'm not going to put a thing on that one. I don't feel the need for every glass to be, you know, reinforced with something. There is bulletproof glass. This is some point in the future, and you know, they got bulletproof glass now. Why wouldn't they have it then? Okay, and then this is going to be back here. I put it back there, but it's going to be at an angle, and we really need to have this kind of centered on the vehicle. Yeah, can't really make it any shorter. And that's fine. You need to be able to have cast a bubble over this thing, right? All right, so then we're going to put hope to God I don't fuck this up. Okay. And that goes like that. And we want to be able to change the magazines out. So we're going to have the magazines on the outside. But anyhow, I normally name everything. This is actually a vehicle that was named by somebody else. And it caught me off guard and was so funny, I'm like, I gotta build it. And it was suggested by somebody who kind of suggested it out of character. It's definitely something I would have come up with, but I was not expecting them to come up with it. I think we need to put it up here. Oh, I think we need to put it up here. There we go. That's where it needs to go. Well, here's an interesting situation. This is actually keeping this from going all the way down and sitting flush. Let's see if I put it, dadgummit. Let's see. I don't think it's going to take much. That's all it took. Okay, perfect. Because we got something that we need to paint on here. We're going to prime these little pieces in black, and then we'll go to town working on something else that we need to paint on this vehicle to give it the right look. All right, I think I want. Move this a little bit. There we go. Okay. So kind of like Mr. Green Screen, which I believe is the only other vehicle I have that shoots forward and backwards. Of course, it has a nitro boost. This has a teleporter instead. Transporter. Really needs to be transporter. And if I was smart and had time to do, I could make like little wires that would go from this like a power source up to this. I could do it. I don't know that I want to do it. I'm good enough with sprue and things like that. But that's something I'd have to do towards the end. All right, so that's what this thing is. So, and this doesn't spin, or does it spin? Oh, it still spins a little bit because it's at the top. Okay, well that's fine. Okay, so this is a transporter with one machine gun that shoots forward and one back. And I believe they're regular MGs. Yep. Okay. All right. Cool. Cool. All right. To quote that guy in Community, I don't remember what his name is. That's a funny fucking show. All right, let's get rid of this because there's live super glue on there. And we don't want to contaminate a brush with that. And the brush will end up going in the garbage can. Let's remove this from our work area. I don't know why this is bent up. We're just going to have to deal with it. That's what happens when you get this stuff for free. Sometimes it's cattywampus. All right? Let's get a brush that is not too wonderful, but not a piece of shit, because we're going to need to. Now, that's when let's get a bigger one. We're going to need to paint some areas that are a little larger than normal. All right, let's get our Vallejo primer. Man, you guys are silent. You can't type anything because you're watching from Iran. I hope not, for your sake. Okay. Do you have the super readers? We do. All right, let's go ahead and prime these items. Now, the nice thing about white is rust turns out really well on it. Rust turns out really well. So we're going to prime these things in black. And while this black prime thing's dry, that's when we're going to go and do the painting that we need to do. We need to remove this little Hot Wheels symbol. We'll keep, I don't know what that is down there. This is a 73. It's a pretty modern looking car for a 73. The 73 Firebird, supposedly. Hell, I don't know how to read what's on the bottom. Because this is one that doesn't say. Okay. It's a 73 Firebird. And what I found out is, Firebird, Trans Am, what is it? And supposedly, according to this article that I read, the Trans Ams and Firebirds, all Firebirds are Trans Ams and all Firebirds are all Trans Ams are Firebirds and all Firebirds are Trans Ams. They're like unique. They're like that. So I specifically needed to get a Trans Am. I really wanted to get one from Smokey and the Bandit, but I didn't have one. I don't want it in black because it's not Smokey and the Bandit, although the driver does have a resemblance to Mr. Reynolds. This is probably going to be the start of when, as soon as I post photos of my vehicles, I'm probably going to post, and I started doing this 7-8 years ago when I did my first vehicles. I'm going to post, and I'm probably going to use Chat GPT to come up with pictures of the drivers. When I was doing some of the Mexican lowriders 7 or 8 years ago, I didn't have Chat GPT, but I did go online and found a picture of, what's his name? Is it Danny Prieto? The guy that's in every movie. The Machete guy. I haven't seen Machete, but everybody knows who that guy is. He was one of the drivers. I had to find a picture of him, driving a car, So he was one of them. And obviously it wasn't him. It was just somebody else's name, and he looked like that, right? To tie in. I found Fluffy for one of them, that comedian Fluffy. Because he looks like a pillow. As another one. And this is probably going to be the return of that. Because I already have a picture of this driver. So. I don't know what the name of the driver is, but I do know what the name of the car is. So. And this was, like I said, designed by somebody else. I designed it, but he came up with a name. I almost peed myself, how funny it was, and we're rolling with it. And I'm not going to tell anybody if they're not going to ask what the name of the car is, unless you bots don't want to know. I was wondering, like, okay, you got 3 viewers. How many of them are bots? The bots probably view in a different way, actually. But based on the name, I had to find the vehicle for it. It was like literally, this is a perfect example of, we want a car with this name. Okay, well, it needs to be this car, and it needs to have this build of things that cut. Keep it down there, Mr. Ice Cube Maker. With this build, not the other way around that a lot of people do. Like, this is a cool car. We don't know what it's called. Like, no. I can't operate that way. I may be the exception. I usually operate this way, and sometimes I'll have a name, I'll have the car, and I just won't get finished. Like, I got Tantrum over there. It's my Mustang. I haven't finished it. I don't have any weapons on it. I'm trying to clear off these things that I already have cars open. Like, I've got this particular, this car that I picked up, which is like a 68 or 69 Charger. It's a 69 Charger. It's got Hot Wheels on the side. Okay? Well, this is the Dukes of Hazzard car. So is this one. I don't know what year the Dukes of Hazzard car is specifically, but it's the same style. And, which is interesting. They're both Hot Wheels, but they're not the same size. Like, one of them, like, if this is 1/64th, then this would be like 1/62nd. This one's bigger. I don't care about that, but this is I don't want a car that has Hot Wheels on it because I'm trying to represent a vehicle that's supposed to be a real car on 1-to-1 scale. So I'm going to repaint this one, and I'm probably going to put the Red Nix flag on there, which is not the Confederate flag. It has the opposite colors, and it has no stars in it. And this is probably going to be instead of the General Lee, it's probably going to be Colonel Cletus. And it won't be orange. I said, well, I should use the opposite of orange, which is green. I don't think that's going to work, but might be Bondo colored. I could do blue, but the problem is there's blue in the flag, and that's going to, not make the flag pop. So I think like a Bondo gray would be good. Yeah, I think this dark sea gray would be a perfect color for it. Paint the whole thing, and then hand paint the Red Nix flag on it. So, and that'll be, instead of General Lee, it'll be Colonel Cletus. I'm not offended by using Confederate iconography, but there's no reason to do that. I could create my own. The whole point in using these Confederate type flags is to make them look like, inbred folks, not necessarily, make fun of slavery or anything like that. In this world, there doesn't even have to have ever been slavery. It's not really important. Not that I got thin skin or anything like that. Not that anybody that would be watching my show would even consider that. It's just, you got a lot of things that happen that are bot driven. And if you got a problem with something that you put on your feed, it's gonna get dinked by an automated response, not a human. And the humans are too busy to go in and look at your stuff. It's like, hey, they kind of dinked me for this and it wasn't really an issue. They don't have the time to go and look at it in person. So it's just better to avoid, showing, models with the crooked spider on them, that kind of stuff. It's just easier just to avoid that completely. I don't have time. I don't have time to defend myself. Let's put it that way. I get some kind of a dink like that, I'd be like, okay, well, fine, we'll leave him fucking Facebook. Or whatever this is. YouTube, and we'll go to one of those other streaming things that have less rules. that nobody watches. I don't remember what those alternate things are called. I don't go to them myself. But I got pretty thick skin. I want to make fun of just about everything. Just about everything is fair game. We're just here to have a good time. 5 viewers with who knows who they are. Happy Monday, folks. You know, all my watchers really know how to behave. You know, even when I put it live and I get kids, you know, don't come here and be a dick. You know, have a good time. There's been a couple of kids that were young. I don't know, they were like 12 or something. They were great. They asked questions, you know. This is a great hobby to get into, especially with using these kind of cars. Man, anybody can afford them. You know, anybody can go to the toy aisle and buy cars. It's a fun game, even if you don't convert them. It's a fun excuse to go and look through cars. Although the packaging on the cars is really annoying because they're really out of balance. I don't know if I talked about this yesterday. Or I wasn't on here this morning. But if you've got like racks of these things, all the way in racks, like you've got these, you know, there might be 8 deep. And you go and you look through them, the way that they're constructed is there doesn't take a whole lot of movement for this thing to just get a little bit of an angle and slides. And the next thing you know, you're like making a bunch of noise sifting through stuff. You know, and they're designed, I don't know if they're designed very great. And then you get a little crease here, and then it won't hold up. It's just a pain. It's, you know, I think there could be a better design, but they probably don't care. I guess that would really bug me if I was a collector, but I do collect them after I modify them and paint them to my liking. I might actually do the little power cord thing. That's totally within, it'd be cool. But we got to put that on afterwards. And I don't believe in painting these little bits first, because what happens is, in the process of handling them, I end up like wearing the paint off. So I end up having to do it again. I'd rather just do it once and not have to do any touch up and it just be slow than the idea of redoing things. I think this is going to be a cool car. I think it's going to be a cool car, but I think it'll be fun to play for sure. I think all of them are fun to play. I think all of them are fun to play. Whether or not the vehicle that does something super cool is in the right position to do it or not is kind of the big wild card, but That can happen with anybody. All right, let's get a paper towel here. Well, I was thinking about something over the weekend. I didn't get to go to that Diecast store. Not that I needed to, but in the process of it, I was doing some brainstorming and I came across something that would be a really cool team. And I'm not going to spill the beans on this one, okay? Some models that I would have just overlooked completely. Like, I would have seen those and go, that just doesn't work for this. Like, that's not appropriate. Not like it's, rude or something. It's just not, it doesn't go with this. In other words, they made die-cast models of X. That's not going to work, But I thought about it, and I thought about an angle to work it, and I think that it would be really funny and appropriate for a team that has that. So, I, of course, ordered them on eBay. Didn't spend a whole lot of money, and I think it's going to be a hoot. I should get them at the end of the week. I don't know that I'm going to do an unboxing. I really kind of want to build them and kind of surprise everybody. I kind of want to build them and surprise everybody. So, yeah, I would say this is probably a pretty zany car, but it's the teams really that I find really weird. Like the whole, undead and purifying flames and horror and that kind of stuff. That just doesn't go with anything that I'm interested in. I'd rather have cars of, Italian cars and French and Germans and, construction workers and things like that. That's more kind of like what I want to see instead of just, If they got that one team that's what the warden and it's all criminals. Like, that doesn't make any sense. It makes sense to me like everybody's a criminal, right? It's like it's gladiatorial combat with cars, And the people want to see everybody die. That's what the people go to watch this race is everybody die. You just want your guy to die last. Or the guy you're cheering for takes everybody with him, or as many people with him. And I think the one thing that works really well for this is like, you don't assign people cars. Like, who do you want to play? And, as long as you mix it up and you play somebody else different next time, all the cars don't have enough points that they're perfect. They have weaknesses. Well, not so much they have weaknesses, but they don't have everything you could possibly want. Because you let people design cars, say, okay, we're going to let people design your own car for 50 points. And that's probably a number that a lot of people use. Like, okay, you get 50 points, design your cars. You're going to get a lot of people that are going to build a 50-point car that they want to go fast, so they do like maybe a performance car or just a regular car, something they could keep up, and just start piling so much stuff on it that, it's like, all right, well, we got, 50 points, well, you can only put 2 things on it, so we'll put 2 chain guns on it, all right, and then we'll give the guy a submachine gun, but as a crew of 2, so let's give him 2 submachine guns, and grenades, and next thing you know, like, every car is, like, overloaded with stuff. So to make that car seem like it doesn't have everything, now you have to create bigger cars that maybe have 75 or 80 points. It just starts having too much stuff, So I think I kind of found at least the sweet spot I was happy with one of my car builds that I already had built out, and it ended up adding to 27 points. And then the other car that I had, well, let's see if we can get it. Oh, it's really close to 27. Let's make it 27 too. And then the next thing you know, that kind of became the standard. So 80% of my vehicles are 27-point vehicles. Now, this particular team that I'm talking about, that I'm not going to tell you what it is, you'll find out soon enough. Because as soon as they show up, and I'm going to stop everything I'm doing, and we're building at least one of their vehicles, if not two. They're not going to have 27-point vehicles. The vehicles are not appropriate for that. But it should be a hoot. Now I think I'm going to switch to the thin one. Getting kind of in the zone where we're getting close to the white. Now, it's not that big of a deal because one of my discoveries is using hand sanitizer to clean up acrylic paint. So if I did like a black splotch on this, and even if it dried, I could come in with hand sanitizer, just put a little bit of hand sanitizer on the brush, and it'll come right off. But it adds another step. It adds another step of shit you got to do. So I'd rather avoid that. Just be careful. And look, the reality is the longer it takes for me to paint this black stuff, the more some of it's going to dry out and I'll be able to roll into it. Because what I'm going to do next after I'm done with this black is not paint it, but to actually go in and do the other painting that I have to do on the car. And maybe, if I'm holding my mouth right, I can get this done tonight. Because I would love to post pictures of it. So, we'll see how it goes. It all depends if I stay interested, if I stay awake, engaged. And the engaging part isn't going real well because I don't know what you guys are up to. Now, this is a problem with these vehicles that have this chrome that's on the plastic. Like the chrome that's on the wheels can come off just by you handling them. Right? Like I've been pretty gentle with this thing. We haven't been playing with it. And just by holding it by these wheels, the friction ends up taking the chrome off. Now, that's not a big deal because I'll end up dry brushing and putting paint on top of it. But when you're a kid, it's really annoying. You have this car, it's like, man, these wheels were like silver. What happened? All I did was play with it. Well, they rub off. It rubs off of them. All right, let's start looking at this from sides and see if there's anything missing. From this side, we're going to add a little bit there. And a little bit here. And let's pull this down a little bit more. Okay. All right, now we go to the back. Do we see any unpainted? Yes. This down here, there's a little bit. And a little bit there. That's it, okay? Now to this one. I think we have a little bit down here we can see. Hello, infidels. How you doing, my man? '73 Firebird, Trans Am Firebird. Had no idea there was an earlier version of the Trans Am than the Smokey and the Bandit one, which I think is a 77. Now this one happens to be white. That's crucial. It's crucial that it's white. Actually, the fact that it's white is going to come in handy. Now, I want to go ahead, since I'm working on with a black, I'm going to go in and put the taillights and headlights that need to be in that color. All right, so we're going to go in and we're going to look at, let's look at a 1973 Trans Am. And here's exactly this. Here it is. This is exactly the same version. It's a good looking car. A really good looking car. I'd say it looks better than the 70, the other one. The one that everybody's familiar with. Or of course, you know, when I think of a Trans Am, I actually don't think of the one from Smokey and the Bandit. I actually think from the ones that we had in the 80s. Well, I didn't have one, but the ones you'd see around in the 80s. I always thought it was a good looking car. Probably, you know, not my kind of a vehicle with performance and or such, but Cannonball Run movie. I haven't seen. I mean, I think I've seen it way back when. I don't know how many Smokey and the Bandit movies there are. 3. I'm sure I've seen it. I was actually looking to see them in the last couple months, and you got to pay for them. Like, dude, those movies are like old as shit. I mean, I know they suck, but you know, like, I don't mind seeing them. You know. So, yeah, so I was saying is, this is probably going to be the first vehicle that we're going to have, when we post pictures of the vehicles, we're going to post pictures of the drivers. I don't know what the name of this driver is, but I know what they look like, because I've already designed them. Okay? It's important, in particular, for this vehicle. This is a vehicle that I designed, but I didn't actually come up with a name for it. Marty actually came up with a name. He's like, hey, you should make a vehicle called such and such. And I busted out laughing. And in some conditions on it. So that's what we're building. We're building this particular vehicle, which is funny because it's really out of his character. It's not out of my character. A lot of old movies are better than some new ones. A lot of old new movies are terrible. Yeah. So, we need to paint this in. So, he goes, so we're playing this game, and he goes, hey, you should design a Trans Am called Trans I Am. And it's a trans driver. I'm like, and I just busted out laughing. I'm like, that's perfect. So what I'm going to do is, there's already blue on this eagle. We're going to add some pink in there. And it'll still stay white. And that's why it has a transporter, which allows you to, like, you know, you roll a die and it can zip somewhere. I think you can only do it one time. And that's why it's got guns that fire forward and backwards. Should be a hoot. Want to see the driver? Sure. Since somebody's paying attention. So I took a picture of Burt Reynolds and we fucked with it. So here's the driver. Ought to be a hoot. Made with ChatGPT. And one of those cars, like, man, you have to take a shower and, you know, get all that dust off you. That's like a dustier place than where I work at. So the nice thing is this driver will be able to play on the girls' team too. Hey, we're trying to be inclusive here, you know? Include everybody. Well, you know, the thing is this has it's a teleporter, but I'm calling it a transporter. You know, obviously to go with the theme of the car. And we'll see how that goes. I think that's going to be a huge wild card. I don't know if it's going to be very good, but it's something. It's something, and none of the other ones have it. I was going to put it on the Nerd Burglar van. I still might. I have a hard time sitting down and watching movies, though. They're not engaging enough. Okay, I think this is like little lights down here, so we're going to go ahead and... I think that's the turn signals. Okay. Now, what about the rear here? Okay, it's going to have the bumper. It really is a good looking car. Probably handles like trash. Well, maybe not back then, but by today's standards, handles like trash. You know, a sports car that handles worse than... What is it that you have, a CRV? I bet your CRV handles better. Or a RAV4. You got a CRV or a RAV4. I bet it handles better than this car. Shit, it might get up to 60 miles an hour quicker than this car. Cars now are quick. Maybe not, but... I bet this thing is 8.5 seconds to 60 miles an hour. I do have Jeeps and buggies. We'll get there. Let's see how good I am with this. I'm usually a pretty good guesser when it comes to 0 to 60. 0 to 60 times. And this is Pontiac. Nope, not Porsche. Oh, they got rid of Pontiac? Why, because it's not around anymore? All right, is there a search function here? Okay. Pontiac, 1973, Firebird, Trans Am. Search. Oh, there's Pontiac. Pontiac Fiero. Firebird. Firebird, Pontiac Firebird Formula, whatever that is, that's 7.1. Firebird Esprit is 11.2. Both of those are 1973 models. The 74 one is 9.9. That's pitiful for a muscle car. Now they have a Trans Am that is a 1975. That's 9.6. That's also, yeah, they're not very fast. But then you got to look at, what other vehicles were, back then. Honda CRV all-wheel drive. I bet your car's faster. If it's all-wheel drive, yeah, I mean, you got some torque on that thing. It's got a 4-cylinder engine. I got a 4-cylinder engine. Of course, mine runs on cocaine. I filled up today. It's about as expensive as cocaine, I imagine. Let's see, CRV. Yeah, your CRV's faster. Your CRV's faster. Yeah. Yep. Your CRV gets up to 60 back, and I know your CRV handles better than this. Holds the curves a lot better. This fucker doesn't hold the curves worth a damn. It just looks fast, you know. Yeah, all-wheel drive is awesome. I don't know. I don't need it because of the snow. It is just awesome. You can make turns when you need to. Where's the bumper on this Joker? Oh, that big thing? All right. We're going to paint that black too, because that's going to end up getting the treatment. Okay, and the license plate block. But these old muscle car looking cars, I think are like the best vehicles for this. Some guy posted on one of the posts on the Gaslands groups like, okay, here's that build everybody has, and it was like a 57 Chevy. I don't have a single 57 Chevy. They're ugly as shit. Sorry. Yep. No, not the Trans MI. That's you. Are you? Yes, the Trans I am. Yeah. Nobody got a rise out of it. Oh well. So, what is it equipped with? A transporter, obviously. Okay. And a machine gun, one that shoots one way, one that shoots the other way. So it shoots both ways. Obviously. Got to go with a name. I'm going to the Eagle. What dawned on me, because I was still kind of looking for, a Smokey and the Bandit looking one. Not necessarily black. And then I realized, oh, they're all Trans Ams. All Firebirds are Trans Ams. And down here it even says Trans Am. And once I realized that it's got blue feathers on it, I'm going to paint pink feathers inside the blue ones. And that's how we'll tie all that together. Okay? Because I was like, okay, I'll put a blue stripe on one side and a pink stripe on the other one. I'm like, no, I don't need to do that. The eagle, the flaming eagle, or whatever, the Firebird, not the Firebird, already has blue on it. So we'll just put pink in there. So it's pink and blue and black and the whole vehicle's white and it has all those colors and it works together. You know? I just don't know if it's called a teleporter. I'm calling it a transporter, obviously. It's a transporter on this car. And I just don't know if you can use it more than once. I'm not sure. The FAC is not very useful. We'll just have to decide. I think it does cost 7 points, which is a lot. And there is a downside to using it. It's not like, oh, it's awesome every time. No, you could screw yourself with it. So, ultimately, it's whatever we want to do with it. Okay, so while that is drying, it's not going to take long. Now we will go work on the pink parts. All right, so we already have the blue where you want it. What pink are we using? All right, so we have, I don't want to use a Vallejo one. This one, I don't even know what color it is because it's so old. This was from Brookhurst Hobbies in the early 2000s when I got it. It honestly, it's a little too, has too much purple in it. My other alternative, without making a custom color, which I'm not opposed to doing, I don't want to automatically resort to that, is this one, which is Old Rose. And Old Rose isn't bad, but I have a feeling I'm going to take Old Rose, add a little bit of this one, and then we'll get our color. I think that's the way forward. The other one is, this is just too like Barbie. It's Sunset Red. I think these two together is. Hey, I nailed your freaking car on your truck. I nailed the color on your car, on your truck, right on, so. I ain't colorblind, that's for sure. I suck at other things. I don't cook. I'm good with colors, though. And I may actually like this color. What is the colors of trans flag images? Well, it's actually closer to this. It's actually really close to this. Well, it'd look a lot better if they used that color. Pepto-Bismol pink. Yeah. Well, I went to that store. I don't know if you watch any of my shows, but I met my wife in Tallahassee. She was to meet on the halfway point. And I realized there's a Diecast store in Tallahassee that looked badass. And I'm like, I don't need anything, but I'd like to go through there. I get there just before it opens, and they never opened. They never opened because they happened to be the owners of the store ended up being at a car show. That I'm like, all right, I'll go to that. It was $22 entry. I'm like, I'm not going to that. Like a 1-to-1 scale car show, because on top of paying for that, they're not going to have all their inventory, and I don't want to specifically buy something. I just want to see what was there, right? Because going to stores, going to Dollar Tree and stuff, I know what's out in 2026. I don't need any 2026 cars. Well, I don't need any cars, but it's cool to go through and look for them. So I messaged them, and they told me all this information. No, somebody was supposed to open, but they were a no-show. And then when we were leaving town, 10 minutes after leaving town, he ends up calling me. He got my phone number and was like, okay, we're opening the store back up. And I'm like, oh, I guess it just wasn't for... There's a reason to go there when I pass through there again. But on the drive back, I was brainstorming about stuff. And I'm not going to tell you what it is, but I ended up making a purchase today off of eBay for another team. And they're things that I totally would not have used. And if you guessed right, I'm not going to tell you what it is. They should be in by the end of the week. I may not even do an unboxing because I already know 3 builds that I'm going to do for that particular team. And it's something that I haven't seen any of us that have. And don't guess, because I'm not going to tell you. But it's going to be hilarious and appropriate with what we got going on. So. All right, we need to liven up this Pepto-Bismol pink. Okay. Now, I'm going to do a test here. I'm actually going to take my contacts out. I'll be right back. That's a smart thing. Let's do it. We want this thing to look good. I'll be right back. Like I said earlier, the other thing is that I'm always looking for these cars to be able to be on multiple teams, if possible. Maybe not every car, but I'd say half of them. You know, to have some flexibility. This car can be on the girl team, obviously. Depends if it's an odd numbered day or an even numbered day. All right, let's try this. So, we're going to want it down here at the bottom. And by putting it down there at the bottom, I don't think I want to fill in... I think I need something thinner than this one, now that I'm looking at it. Yeah, maybe not. I should focus down here, because whatever I do here, I should do up there. So there's blue on the outside, and there's also like a light blue. I think I'm going to try, first of all, let's just fill in the center and see if we like how that looks. If I like how it looks. No, this one won't work. It's all right, it's frayed. I got +6 vision, man. Nothing gets by me like that. Nope, that one's not going to do it either. We need the most perfect of brushes. We want it to look good. All right. That's why I have so many colors, because it gives you starting points to start from, not like mix everything from scratch. Let's use AI. Let's use AI so that I don't waste my time. Okay? So we have it, might as well use it. Let's focus on the eagle, which always looks badass. I got a soft spot for eagles. Save. Nope, keep the resolution, it's good enough. All right, we're gonna load this on to Le Chat. Okay. Let's go to Gaslands, and we're going to add photos, and we're going to add this photo. Done. Okay. Add color in pink inside the wings. Let's see what we get. I'm probably not going to get the right thing. If I want white showing, which I think I do somewhere in there, I either need to leave the centers in white, or the center is where the pink goes, and then we have white dividing the blue and the pink, which I think is the way to do it. The problem is right next to that line, we're going to have a different color blue. File is no longer available. Okay, so it took a shit. Okay, perfect. So we'll go back to doing it the old-fashioned way. All right, so let's, if I did this one, let me do one of each. Oh, I like that. That looks good. That looks damn good. That's the one we're going with. We're filling in the centers. That looks good. Okay. Awesome. These are just Walmart brushes. These are those brushes I bragged about that had at Hobby Lobby. Now Walmart carries them. I mean, Walmart carries some horrible brushes too. These are pretty damn good. I was going to say, what's the rule in heraldry about metals or furs on metals or something like that? Well, so gold is yellow and silver is white, and colors can't ever touch each other. In Western heraldry, right? So Germany, France, Italy, Britain, Spain, Portugal. And you're used to doing that. I mean, even though you don't know about heraldry, or I'm not saying you don't, if people don't know about heraldry, when two colors that shouldn't be touching each other are touching each other, it looks weird. For example, the Portuguese flag, the modern Portuguese flag. Half of it's red, half of it's green. Nothing in between them. Those colors shouldn't touch each other. Now, if you're talking about something like, Turkey or Russia, even Russia doesn't really, those things don't apply to them. They had some heraldry, but those things, but I'm talking about Western heraldry, whoever designed it, you're used to seeing stuff. Seeing the differentiation between the two. So you would never see like a blue shield with like a red cross through the blue shield without a dividing line between the red and the blue, unless it's like before that started, and that was like right after the Normans. Like you'll see some Normans that break those rules, but about 1100, that's like those rules don't get broken. And I don't know who designed them, but so you're used to seeing kind of the same way that if you were like looking at a comic book, right? The way you're looking at a comic book, and the comic book is almost like, for the most part, drawn in black and white. And then the colors, you use the black and white to divide the colors in between it. You don't have like one color up against another without something dividing it, generally. And it's like, so you can't put your finger on it, but then you're like, man, something looks wrong. And then you're like, oh yeah, those two colors are touching. They shouldn't be. That's why I find the Russian flag, the modern Russian flag, looks so weird. Because you've got white, or whatever order they're in. I think it's white, red, blue. The red and the blue touch each other. I'm like, all the colors are there, but it's just weird. Look at the Dutch one, it's divided. Look at the French one, it's divided. Look at the United Kingdom one, it's divided. The rest of them, I don't care about that crap. Serfs don't have any rights. They just do whatever they want, That's why they're the bad guys. They don't follow the rules of heraldry. Yes, you're driving, so you're using speech to text. Heraldry. Yes, that's the... I hate speech to text. Because I'm such a grammar Nazi. It's the only Nazi that's decent, right? The only allowable Nazi, grammar Nazi. That Nazi still doesn't have any friends. All right, this is going to look superb. That's why we do this. Now, unless something dramatically changes, I'm not going to the con. I pretty much made the decision over the weekend. I was going to go to Busch Gardens this weekend with the daughter. Something came up and I can't. And the only other weekend she can go is the weekend of the con. Now, the weekend of the con, I was only going to go on Friday to the con, which I've done a couple times now. But that Friday, there's a concert at Busch Gardens that is worth, if we're going to it, might as well go on that one. So I was on the fence anyways, so I'm not gonna go to the con. So you'll just have to do without me. You have to find somebody else to make inappropriate jokes in my stead. They won't do as good a job as I will, but, you know. Already asked for the day off is not a problem. It shouldn't be an issue, but it's like, yeah, I'm not going to compete. And then the next con is the one in the weird time, right? The one that's now in August. Hurricane now in August. Watch there be a hurricane during that time because they moved it forward. I was the first to say it, but not the first to think it. I'm sure one of you guys thought about it. Okay, this is going to look fucking amazing. It's subtle yet not subtle. And by the way, all of the metal on all the reinforcement on the windows will be in white. Although I thought about putting the cage on one side in pink and the other one in blue, but only YOLO Pony can pull that off. Only YOLO Pony can pull all those crazy colors and they still looks good together, you know? Yeah. Yeah, watch Hurricane be canceled because of a hurricane. It's alright. It'll be the first con that I miss, except that masked one episode, since 2001. I'm alright with it. You know? Now I don't have to go to any of them. Now it's like, oh, I can't say I went to all of them. Ah, fuck it then. I go when I want. Saturday. What phone call? Oh, which Saturday? A Saturday coming up? Sure. I mean, hell, we could do a live show on it. I just don't want to write all this stuff down. Some people love to write. I can't stand it. And I would actually consider going on Saturday, right? Like go to Busch Gardens on Friday, come up on Saturday to show, but there's no flea market. And I'm not paying $50 fucking just to go there. It's stupid, you know? All right. You're driving, so you can't see this. So you have to look at this later. You shouldn't see this. Don't use that self-driving feature of that. So we're going to do a before and after. I took a picture of it before. We're going to do a picture of it after. Of course, we're not done with it yet. We still have to do black lining, but we should be able to roll right into that. Yeah, it's subtle. It's not dramatically different, but it is. I think it works with the theme really well. Let's see if we can size this about the same size. Okay, so this is what it looked like before. Let's kill this. There we go. That's what it looked like before. Is it even blurry? Hold on a second. Yeah, it's blurry. You can't see it. Fuck. Is this better? There we go. Parkway Free. That's what it looked like originally, all right? This is what it looks like now. Yeah, buddy! That's perfect. That's perfect. And you know what? It looks good. It looks good. Yeah, I'm not gonna do like, pink shit up here. We can make it white. He's not trying to make a statement. He just, he has a different walk of life, and he just wants to go out and get killed and kill people. He's a criminal like everything else. I don't know what the hell he's got put in jail for, but a nefarious individual just like everybody else that's racing. All right, so we are going to do white on all these things so it ties in. Now, I'm probably going to do what I like to do, which is doing the old 10 bits thing. So we have kind of a layer of rust here, and then we'll do the kind of the whitewash. So it still looks like it's metallic. So we're going to grab something that's a little bit bigger, and we're going to grab, I keep calling it 10 bits, but it's not. The Games Workshop one used to be called 10 bits. Rough iron. Yeah, so this little dome thing looks like something that would remind me of, like, Back to the Future or something. That's what we're going for. All right, and we're going to overbrush this. So like a wet dry brush on these additional metallic parts that did not get primed very well on the original vehicle, and therefore they're susceptible to looking corroded. That's the storyline. Okay, and we're going to do the same thing on this side. And we'll do it at an angle so that we're not pushing the bristles all the way through this and painting on top of something that's already white. It may still happen, but it is less likely to happen. All right, and then do the same thing on the front. Yeah, I just want to go out to fucking dinner. I don't give a shit about playing games. Obviously, there's no games there to play. I don't care. No pink flames. Yeah, pink flames. Yeah, it's pink flames here. Well, technically, none of them are flames. They're just feathers. There's just as much blue as there is pink. Isn't that what it's supposed to be? Equal opportunity. Like I said, is it an odd number day? No, it's even. Okay, you're driving on the girl team. Okay, nice. Nice. Like rice. That's a different team. I do need to do Rice Cube. It's my Asian rapper. He drives a vet and it's got a big dragon on it. Rice Cube. Instead of a big clock hanging around his neck, he's got an abacus. Flames on the side. No, there's no flames on the side. No, I'm not painting that. No. No, that's too flaming, man. He's just trans. Okay? All right. Now we're going to take the dark... the darkest of the gray metallics, and we're going to go over this. Not everywhere. We still want some of that corrosion showing. Same thing on this side. I have a feeling this is going to look amazing. I don't know why. It's all going to come together. You know, that was a fluke. What was it? The dirty whatever the hell it was. The dirty cooter was a fluke. And it doesn't look bad. I mean, you know, the delivery of it does not look bad. It's just that it's not what it didn't meet my expectations. What did you think of the two vehicles you picked up today? What vehicles did you pick? I only saw one. And I'm sitting here thinking, I'm way too old for a Cadillac. What's the deal with the Cadillac? I saw there was like an orange Cadillac. Did I miss one? Did it not load up because I was at work? I noticed your parole officer doesn't let you use your phone on the weekends. You only have it when I'm at work. This is the only one that came through. The Cadillac one. That's the only thing that came through. It's a cool car. I mean, this is a perfect example of a car not to repaint. There's all kinds of graphics on here. There's no way in hell anybody would waste their time doing it. Another car didn't come through. What else did you get? And why was that going for $12.99? Well, what I picked up on the internet today was actually really cheap. It was almost too cheap, and they're brand new. But I'm not stealing any thunder. It's worth the wait. I have a feeling it's a team everybody's going to be tripping over to play. But I think all the team stuff is cool. I don't have any favorites. I really don't. As it should be. Okay, so now we've got a little bit of this 10 bits color, so that's to show corrosion and some of this. Now, the other thing that is in this color is the machine guns. So we're going to go up here to machine gun land. And these are AK-47-like machine guns. Without the wooden stock. They have no wooden stock on them, so it's just the gunmetal portions of it. We want to leave some black showing. And the ammunition containers, we're going to paint them a different color. Might even be military green, but just something so they pop out. Now, this space modulator, or whatever the hell this thing is, this is not a space modulator. I have a car that already comes with a space modulator on it. And it's a Hot Wheels that I used to have Probably when I lived in Alabama. I remember it. It looks familiar. Like some space car or something like that. It's almost Gaslands ready. All right, I'm going to go ahead and just give this a dry brush of this color, even though I'm sure we're going to come in and we're probably going to do something in gold. Like even if it's just that tip of that. Rescent. Yeah. Still not coming through. All right, let's go out. Let's get back in. Still not coming through. Target online price is $12.99. I just bought it at Dollar Tree for $1.25. Sheesh. That's all I got. That's all I got from you. I'll wait a little bit. I got vibrator on, so it should go, you know. So I went through, once I found out that this is not only is this a treasure hunt, it's a super treasure hunt. So once I found out that was a super treasure hunt, I was like, I wonder what super treasure hunts I have already seen, didn't realize there were super treasure hunts, and I could have picked them up. You know, not to resell them. Like, my time's worth too much. I get paid too much by the hour to be worried about that shit, right? You got to be paid very little for that to make a difference. And I'd say I probably have seen a third of them in stores. Like, I didn't pick it up because usually the super treasure hunts look messed up looking. Like, this is technically a messed up looking vehicle, but I wanted a Scottish themed car, so bam. I mean, nothing's better than that. Oh, we got something. Why didn't it vibrate? Oh, interesting. I've not seen that. That is an off-brand one. That actually looks like a good burger until you actually get it, and it's, looks like somebody violated it. You can hold that special sauce on that. You have never had a McRib? And no reason to. I don't know how that restaurant stays in business. I don't know how it stays in business anymore. We're going to paint this metallic. I don't know what the hell this is. Some kind of spool of death. We're going to do the sides of this metal as well. The bottom of the frame will be in white, so it'll tie into the color of the body of the car. All right. We have a problem with white things. My cool white is missing a top, and I need to replace another one. So we're going to come over here to craft paint white. I'm going to add a wee tad of brown so we can make it not so bright. And this is what we're going to use now. Which brown? Probably chocolate. Chocolat. Ah, Snapdragon. Oh, come on. I've actually, it sucks that I missed the flea market, but it's probably a good thing I don't need to buy anything on the flea market. I don't need any more fleas. This one's not going to do it. We need something a little bit more small. There we go. And that opal looks better in real life than it does in the pictures. I suck at taking pictures. And I try 7 or 8 times, tinker with them. I'm like, fuck it. I don't have the patience for that. Right? Problem is, all my lighting is too harsh. I need to go take pictures of them outside. It's too reflective. So that's really what the problem is it doesn't show it in the right brightness. All right, let's do this. That's good. Let's get almost all this off. Now we're going to go over this ever so lightly. Well, maybe we need a little bit more paint than that. Okay, it was wiping off, okay, because this doesn't cover really well. So here's this whole stipple thing I was talking about. Just stipple it on so that you end up leaving paint on there and not brushing it off with the same motion. Okay, that's good. See, now I got this, now I got it running through my veins. Now I'm not in a hurry, but I'm like excited to finish this. Not in a hurry. It'll take however long it takes, and that's how long it'll take. It's looking a little bit like Miami Subs, which is actually okay. One of the few places that could do a good Philly cheesesteak. I guess I mean steak and cheese, because Philly cheesesteak, I just technically have that sauce, and that sauce is just like make-believe shit, Let's see, did you send something yet? Nope. Still working on figuring out how to do it. Technology's great when it works. When it doesn't, I wish it had never been invented. There's a little bit of agua here. All right, we want little bolts to stand out. And the look we're going for is like, they painted this white, but because they didn't prime it properly, there's still some of the corrosion showing. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We still got to do dripping song. I'm going to put my glasses and see this at a distance, how we're looking like. Oh, that looks pretty good. That looks pretty damn good. All right, now we have the body of the transporter. And people are going to go, it's called teleporter, not transporter. Hey, you play your own fucking game, dweeb. It's a transporter on this vehicle, that's for damn sure. There we go. There's that. Let's see. Come on. Heiko Type D, I have one. Mine was red, but I repainted it. That's Hayabusa. Hayabusa is a Heiko Type D. That's a great looking car. That's a great looking car. Distinctly Japanese. I would love to drive a car that looked like that. Or this one. Well, without the wild fucking stripes. Both of these are make-believe. This is a Mad Manga. So, those are my kind of vehicles. Yep. That's the one that's Hayabusa. Which I believe is Peregrine Falcon. Anyways, it's the name of the Oscar plane, so I painted it like an Oscar plane. Yeah, this is going to take a lot of coats, but it's all right. I got lots of patience for this. I think everything up to this spot needs to be white. Well, good chance this will be done by tomorrow night for sure. I'm just having issues with the build. I mean, I want to get a build that kind of went with a name and then... Okay, and then this little trim down here, this is part we're going to put the same color as the body is. And we're going to cover up this Hot Wheels logo. That's going to take a few coats, no big deal. And then I don't know who's next. Maybe Fire Marshal Phil will be next. But I'm going to repaint this thing. This is going to be Colonel Cletus. Instead of General Lee, it's going to be Colonel Cletus. I don't know what color it'll be. Probably Bondo. It's probably going to be Bondo with a big red Knicks flag on the top. I hope I don't have to strip the paint. And the only reason I would strip the paint is because wherever this Hot Wheels decal is, it's going to be thicker than anywhere else, and I'm afraid I'm going to notice it. 2004. Somebody had this outside because I see it's got rusty centers there. Black interior, that's nice. We don't have to take it apart. You can spend a hell of a lot of time on these things, but it certainly is not necessary. There are shortcuts you can take that are unnecessary to, spend more time with them, in my opinion. Yes, I am working on the Trans Am car. What's the max number of cars per player we typically run? 2. 2, and I think we just did 2. However, the buggies, okay? These are specifically designed so you get 2 of them instead. So if we play a game that you have 2 27-point vehicles, you could actually get 3. Because these 2 guys add up to 27 points. The Angry Crumpet and Bangers and Smash. So the 2 minis. The minis are all going to be 12, 13. They're going to be 13-point vehicles. Same thing with, I got a bunch of Hondas. Like little Honda Civic, little hatchbacks that are like this. They're also going to be halvesies as well. That way you get 2 of them, Yeah, so this is the Trans Am. It is a Trans Am that is a trans driver, and they have a transporter, really teleporter the game, but yeah, it should be fun. Should be fun little car. It's I think the first car I have that I've put something on it from the real world, meaning like this transporty thing is a tire valve. I saw it a couple weeks ago. I'm like, oh, that might be good for something. Yep. It's the only thing I have, and I went through all my parts that looks the most like a transporter thing. Like you set that thing off and it creates some dome of energy and then appears somewhere else, Or it could. Well, it will appear somewhere else. The problem is does it appear where you want it to? Okay, that's the wife. Which means there is a chance that we'll be done here shortly. Not because she tells me so, but because I want to watch some TV with her. I'm ready for her to be back. I was eating the whole fucking house times and time over with her not being here. I needed some discipline. I wasn't necessarily eating bad things. I was just eating too much of it. Like 5 breakfasts. Yeah, I was having 5 breakfasts and 3 dinners. Shit happens. Better than being a drunk. So you're using the experimental transporter. Yeah. It'll be cool. I think it'll play okay, I haven't used it. I read the rules. I can't make out whether or not, 7 points is a lot of points. I don't know if you can use it more than once. I have a feeling it's intended that you can't use it more than once. But I'm not sure. Because 7 points is a lot. And there's a 1 in 6 chance that you're going to screw yourself by using it. So in other words, you're not going to get to choose where it goes. Your opponents will get to choose where it goes. Hold on 1 second. right, sorry about that. All right. Thought you'd drop by to say, what's up, Troy Tark? You're going to get excited when I get this guy done, man. The police tow truck that has it's going to have a donut here dangling in front of him. Hey, we're making fun of everybody. I don't care if they're a police officer. Once per activation, but essentially a free movement. You can use it every time? Okay. How did you figure that out? I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm like, I would have thought the intent was to not use it every time, but we're definitely building. Now, I have a Nerd Burglar van. It's the science van. It was going to have this thing anyways. But then, I'm not calling it, this one, the game calls it a teleporter. In this case, it's a transporter. For this guy, it's a transporter. But this is probably going to be the first, and I used to do this 7 or 8 years ago when I did my first batch, is I would have a car, what it looked like, and I would have a picture of the driver. I have a picture of this driver, and probably from now on, I'm probably going to do that with all the drivers. So, I don't know what this driver's name is yet, but, we know what it looks like. He, she, it looks like. They. No, it can't be a they. It's got to have 2 drivers. I guess they would be like, it is a 2-vehicle car. It is a car, not a performance car. So, yeah, I guess they would be both of them. You still like Leadfoot? Yeah, Leadfoot is... Well, Leadfoot... Here's the only thing that sucks about Leadfoot. It was already called Leadfoot. Like, if you literally look at the bottom of it, it's called Leadfoot. It just happened to be a great name for it, So... It's probably going to be your favorite when you're done. I don't have a favorite. I mean, it's just... Oh, I got some stuff coming in in a few days. That's going to be everybody's favorite, I think. It's some insane stuff, but it's insane, but not. It's appropriate with this theme. So, yeah, I'm really enjoying this, building these cars. I wouldn't even say this game. I enjoy a lot of games, but building these cars, a lot. Sky's the limit, Yeah, so you got to give it a couple coats, but the coat's okay. It's craft paint. We're going to clear coat it. It'll be fine. Now, the top portion of this, I feel like it needs to be gold or something. Use gold and stuff to conduct electricity and shit like that. Oh, who knows what this is? It speaks to other planes or something like that. The science behind it. The way that the transporting works, Rulebook says, at the start of this vehicle's activation, this vehicle may use the teleporter. If you use it, you immediately gain 3 hazards. So the hazards count can be risky. What's really risky is not that. What's risky is you roll a d6, and if you get a hazard, somebody else gets to put it where it is. Now, the only thing that I'm going to change right off the bat is, because I don't like the whole card game mechanic, but okay, the person to your left, no. You'll roll to see who gets to move it. Or you guys can decide who gets to move it. And the other thing is that we kind of change location where we are on the table depending on what you're close to, Yeah. That getting put somewhere could be but that's oh, damn, I didn't realize something. That's not useful right off the bat because I bet it counts as a weapon and you're not going to be able to activate that until you're through the first gate. No, maybe we could always house rule it and say, no, this one can do it at the get-go. I don't know, make it interesting. Or not. It's not like we're going to play this in a tournament or something like that. You didn't play it exactly the way the designer... Look, the designer's is not paying me to play the game. I spent 18 years playing something that we had to do with the best that we could because it was a tournament. I'm not going back to that. 18 years of some British guy telling us. That's not how you do it. Like, oh, great, we got another British guy telling. No, it ain't gonna happen. We'll throw the tea right in the water right now. No, it's at the start of your activation. It's an upgrade, not a weapon. You can use it at any time. All right, I gotta keep that in mind. Just like DBA, man, this game is getting multifaceted. That's why we haven't used audience votes once. It just got too complicated. Like Mitch and I are playing, and we played the game, I don't know, a dozen times, and we just couldn't get around pole position. We'd like forget the who. It's like, okay, we got to come up with a better system. We got to come up with a better system because it's like, you know, it's making me act like I'm an inexperienced war gamer, you know. And it's like making my brain hurt. Oh yeah, this is gonna be awesome. Now the whole point is you want it to be cool. You want it to be like, oh, that's a cool car. Oh, this one's a cool car. Oh, that's cool too. Like you should want to do everything. You know, like you're playing. Luke goes, oh, I want to be the girls. Perfect. You know, as long as you're not like nobody else gets to play him other than me. Okay, that's different, right? But we got a good group of people that think outside the box. You know, like I'm building all the cars. Like it's not like okay, I gotta drive them all first. Like I don't care who drives them. I don't even care if I ever get to play this car. You know, I like that. It's like it's I'm unhindered by that. The responsibility of having to play something for the first time and then do well with it. I just want I just want people to create a good narrative. It's unfortunate that some people don't do a good job driving sometimes. I think it's just like in real life. It's not very satisfying to drive improperly. Okay, this thing is going to be gold, and the top of this might actually be blue, like a light blue or something. This is not a weapon. It's a destination. That's why I think that the 27 point thing as a general vehicle is a good number. Because there's so many things a vehicle doesn't have that it forces you to make other vehicles. Instead of like, okay, if your standard 27 points was like 50, then every vehicle would have grenades in it, submachine guns for all crew members. You know, it's like you need to have things that the vehicle isn't good at, so that it forces you to build another vehicle. Like, I want it to force me to build another vehicle because that's what I'm here for, is to build the vehicles. Let's do the black lining at this point, all right? That is an instrumentally important thing. And for that, dark tone. That's good. I forget about that upgrade thing. All right, well, since you mentioned that, let me look at the cheat sheet papers. So that means all of these things down here we can use. Armor plate, experimental teleporter, exploding ram, okay, extra crew member, improvised sludge thrower. I don't have something with an improvised sludge thrower yet. Nitro booster, okay, that makes sense. Ram, roll cage, tank tracks, turret mounted for weapon. Okay, well, thanks for clarifying that. You know, I'd like to play the game the way it's intended, and then if we still don't agree with it, that's different. But I don't want to okay, well, we played it wrong. We got to change it. Well, you played it wrong. Now, how about play it right? See if that works for you. Not like, okay, it's my game, I'm going to change everything. Well, then just make your own game. All right, let's prop this little guy up. So by putting this dark line somewhere that may end up getting rust, you don't have to worry about when you put rust that's, because the rust colors or these rust washes are kind of light. They're not very deep. You don't have to worry about them looking too light. And this stuff cuts with water so well. And doesn't get tacky, unlike Nuln Oil. The second version of Nuln Oil. The first one I had is like this. So I'd rather have this eyedropper than that other thing that you end up like spilling all over yourself. I agree. When your roommates and I played the game, we only used a couple of audience vote rules. We used respawn, burn rubber, change gear up and down, applause, get rid of D6 hazards, and reload. We tried using respawn a couple times and we didn't like the way it felt. So I understand why it's there to keep everybody in the game. So I think what we've done is you don't ever run one vehicle. You run at least two. And I think we played one race, and Marty may have been in it, or maybe not, that somebody had to sit out for like 15 minutes before the race was over. But usually they're not out of the race until like they're fighting it out through the first thing. The game does a really good job of balancing itself out. Like you're like, oh man, that guy's going to run away with it. And it's only happened one time. Only one race we've ever played did somebody like get ahead and they were unstoppable. That's pretty good odds. So that's why I also don't want to create my own point values, create my own vehicle types. I think what's been created there is okay. And ultimately, it doesn't really matter if I did. I like to keep myself on a short leash. There's, everything that's on there, it's enjoyable enough. They put a lot of thought into. There's only a few things. I wish rockets didn't take up 2 slots. You got a vehicle like this car that has rockets, you can't have anything else. But there's not that much combat anyways. Most of it is ramming. So we started the last battle that we did, we started doing about half the cars had rams and the other half did not. And we put all the cars that had front rams had to be in the front row. And all the ones that had back rams all had to be in the back row. And that way you're not like somebody with a ram in the back that's just like having a free day and knocking people out of the race right off the bat. That's the only thing I like about rams is they can really get off to it and knocking people out before anybody ever passes the first gate. It's frequent that if we're running like 10 cars, 5 of them don't make them to the first gate. There's just that much ramming and stuff. And I don't build my teams with free perks. So in other words, like in the rules, like I don't use the teams that are there, but I also don't have like a Rutherford type team that gets free something without having to pay for it just by being on that team. So point value wise, I think the way I do it is a little bit more balanced in the way that it's included in the rule book. Yes, you've knocked out Mitch out of the game. We had last 2 cars left and could outrun you because I had a faster vehicle. Yeah, well, the only game that really got out of control was the one that we played here after Mitch went to work. Yellow Pony just took off. We couldn't catch Yellow Pony. That was the only, I think it's the only one. It looked like you were going to run away with that one with the Dozed and Confused. Dozed and Confused was just plowing the entire world in front of it. A lot of it is timing. Does it get to go before somebody else, and is there somebody there for it to crunch? But Dozed and Confused was like unstoppable. It was like Killdozer. And then It went through the first gate, and people started picking at it, and eventually, things happen. Yeah, I'm trying to keep a third of the vehicles having Rams, not more than that, because it could get really out of control. It could get really out of control. So, one thing I'm going to do is this vehicle, this Harry Potter vehicle. I'm going to make this a transformer. So I'm going to make this a vehicle that I'm going to put a helicopter blade on it, but I'm going to put it on a magnet so I can take it off and put it on, so it can double as a helicopter. And the reason why is because it all started off with the name of it. So I actually used Chat GPT to give me ideas for a Harry Potter vehicle, and one of the ideas was for the name of it was Hogwarts Dropout. And I'm like, no, Hogwarts, I don't want to use stuff that's specifically Harry Potter, right? So this Wizard Academy or whatever, the magic, what do you call it? Magicians? They're magicians, so they're going to be on the Nerd Burglar team, right? It's going to be dog farts. So it's going to be dog farts Dropout. Well, what else is Dropout? Dropped weapons. So I'm like, cool, it'll have a bunch of dropped weapons. And I realize in the game you can only fire one off at a time. I'm like, well, that stinks. Unless it's a helicopter. I'm like, all right, well, that's good. So we can make this a helicopter version. I'll take this off, attach this so we have a magnet here, but also be able to use it as a regular car because helicopters can't win races. And for the most part, we're going to do races or race type things. So we're gonna try that, and I think it'll work out pretty well. Plus, it'll be on the British team, so you can be on the Nerdburger team, the British team, also. And again, the only thing that makes it a team is just they're there by association. They don't get any like freebies and stuff. So this vehicle, whatever it is always the same no matter what team it's on. So. And then this guy's going to be Fire Marshal Phil. What was this, like a 59 Ford or something like that? Going to have a turreted flamethrower. Going to have lots of black shit on it. Like it's good. Let me show you something! This game's about laughing, having fun, and having tactical puzzles to try to figure out. It is about tactical puzzles. Like, okay, I could do this or I could do that, but that has that kind of stuff. So that's 2 Mini Coopers. I have probably 8 more head of Mini Cooper. So they're all going to be halvesies. They're all going to be different. That's got a turret machine gun. It's probably the only one that has it's going to be the only one that has a turreted machine gun of them. This one's armored and has a ram on it. It's a great game. Well, the game goes and you might have, this is a really cool car. And you get in a situation where you have some skill, but you can't use it. Like, for instance, I have one of my vehicles that can reduce itself. Poppycock. Poppycock can basically like reduce damage if it takes damage. But like if nobody shoots at it, then I've wasted those points. It just depends, so. Well, they're all British. They're all going to be British. Oh, I have an Italian team. The Pastafarians. Yeah, I have Italian cars for that. And they have some of their little Fiats. They're also going to be buggies as well. Buggies are zippy. And the roll cage stuff. The only thing I haven't figured out how to use is this. Okay? And this is a really cool one. I haven't figured out how to use it. I couldn't find anything on the FAQ. Since you're knowledgeable, let me read it to you and see if you have an idea of what it is. Let me find it. It is one that involves, I believe it's Power Slide is what it's called. Let's see. Power slide. This vehicle may use any template except the long straight template instead of the slide template when applying a slide result. As with step 1.1 of movement step, you must use the first movement template you touch. Treat the selected movement template as a slide template for purposes of finding the vehicle's final position. So here's the problem. And I talked about this on Saturday's show. Let's say you played a meeting and you did a slide, but you have power slide, right? So you pick another thing and you play it as a slide. Well, the slide gets played like this, right? And you get to decide whether you're facing this way or you get to face this way. Okay? So let's say you pick this veer and you get to use it instead of the slide template. Well, it's got to go in the notch, right? So I think you have 4 options. Like if you pick this, you can place it like this, and then the car is not like this now. I think it's like this, right? Because it makes sense that when you use this long length, it's the side. If you're using this type of length, I think it would be like this. But anyways, you would have 2 different options because you could place it like this, or like that, or like this, or like that. I'm guessing, So I think that's how we're going to play it. We just have one car. Skid Mark Sally is the one that has that skill. But since this has an edge of a corner, I mean, unless they mean to do it like this, I mean, I guess that could also be the case, but because you're taking a piece and you're placing it in the slot, I mean, I could see either way, but I tried looking to see if there was a fact for that, and, No, you're not placing it in the notch. You place it at the end of the chosen, so the word veer would be perfectly flat against the medium straight you choose. Okay. And how did you decide that? I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying that, It's starting getting into DBA territory where things are not the way I would necessarily think it. And you still do a 90? Or in that case, you do go like this. Or you still have the option of going either way. Again, there's probably no wrong answer as long as you apply it evenly. Not like, oh, well, we'll do it this way when I'm doing it, but when you're doing it a different way. Well, that's just dishonorable. That's just dishonorable cheating. Oh, there's pictures? Really? Under power slide? All right, I'll have to look. Okay. Let's see if we can get this guy. Let's see if we can get this done. At least the black lining done. And with any luck, we'll finish it in the morning and post some photos. Not that I'm in a hurry. I just want to see what this thing looks like. And I got the rule book and I have it on my Kindle as well. And, you still have the option of facing either way at the end of the template, just as you would the side template. Okay. So it's still going to put you at 90 degrees. It's just, you get like a side slip with the 90 degrees. Or I guess you could use a curve. Well, we'll find out with Skid Mark Sally. That's one of the things. Like, how do you learn this rule? Make sure you get a vehicle that uses it. I don't know how to use elephants. Build an army with elephants. But I don't know if they're any good. That's the wrong answer. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if it's any good. Is it fun? I mean, you could spend a lot of time. There's a couple of vehicles that I did. The first ones that I did, I spent way too long doing them. And it wasn't that it was enjoyable. It's like I just wouldn't be able to flush the teams out. It's not till I came back to this after I've been doing the vehicles, and I'm like, oh, we're gonna clear coat this with a flat coat, and then we're gonna give them a brown wash to make the surface not look even. And I love painting the details on here that for whatever reason the designer didn't put on there. You know, the paint department and the designer are just always at odds. You know, the paint department's like, we ain't painting all that. We only got two colors. Like, man, but I put all kinds of stuff on there. We don't care. See, I got the first version of the game, I don't know, 7 or 8 years ago, and I wasn't really running it. I kind of let somebody else run it, and they left town. You know, I decided, man, I need to get into. I want to do some of these cars. I'm like, well, I guess my responsibility is running this thing. And just like anything else, there's always questions or things that are kind of unanswered. Never fails. Some games are worse than others. I don't know what color to do those. Yeah, and this looks kind of rough, but it will not when we're done with the weathering. You need to put some kind of a dark line there so the details that you're putting on there it will show up. Yeah, I think I can get this done before work tomorrow, or get it complete. You still have a bunch of micro machine? Not a bunch, a few. I'm going to use them for RC cars. I'm going to use them for RC cars. I mean, they're not official micro machines. That place in Mount Dora has a shitload of them, I think. I don't know. I wish they were even smaller. They're a little too big. I may change the color of this. And they're not Micro Machines. They're, off-brand ones. They're fine. What I'm missing is drivers. I need drivers that I like. Not just any drivers. I need drivers that I like. If the vehicle's completely open top, like I don't need one here. Even if it's got open windows, I don't need one there. If something's like a freaking Jeep and it's like, there should be somebody in it. It's not super necessary, but, considering I don't mind painting figures, and I do a pretty good job painting them. Now, if I like sucked at them or hated doing the figures, all right, that's fine. Don't do them, but I'll paint figures and the vehicle looks better with the figures than without. Now tomorrow morning we'll do these bumpers. We'll do the weathering. We'll do the rust. And we'll do the shitty photo taking. Because I'm a shitty photo taker. I just don't want to spend an hour taking photos. I don't. That's not a good use of time. And we'll do the headlamps, which I love doing the headlamps. So it's coming along. It'll look stellar when we're done with it. The weathering is kind of the magic. Well, it's all kind of the magic, but weathering is really surprising how much better it looks with the weathering. All right, folks, thanks for stopping.